Now, 3061, are we now entering the actual residence?
Yes.
What are you documenting here at 3064?
I am documenting what I see that are suspected blood droplets.
Moving sort of now into the home in 3067. And we would be, again, feel free to use your pointer in this area.
Yes, so what I'm doing is I walk in and I have been trained to do a sweeping motion from left to right, which is how I photograph.
Okay. And we see an example of that here in 3070, you standing in the sort of formal dining room and
Down here in this corner, yes.
sweeping right, sort of right to left.
Yes, from the left.
Left,
yes.
left, yeah, okay, whatever it is.
Yeah.
3074, photographing within that formal dining room.
Again, at this point, I'm in this corner then.
At this point, have you smelled anything that sort of is catching your attention?
So immediately when I walked in, there was a very clean smell. Not like a house that just smells nice. It was a chemical, like Fabuloso, or it had like a lavender smell, something. It was just a cleaner kind of smell. But yes, I did. It was very apparent.
Photograph 3076, the closet that is in that area that we were just looking at, and nothing pertinent in that area?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, now what are we looking at?
So this is going to be this living area right here. So I'm about this area right here, and I am photographing as is and just showing the overall status of the room. This is that half bath right here, so I've turned around and I'm now photographing that.
And that's photograph 3080. Okay. Now are you kind of turned around and looking the other way?
Yes, that is correct.
Are you observing the floor to be covered in what appears to you to be consistent with the appearance of blood?
Yes.
Are you trained when you are moving through and documenting a scene like this to try to minimize any impact or disruption to the scene?
Absolutely, very much so.
What are you having to do in this particular scene in order to adhere to that goal?
So, like I mentioned before, I am wearing my personal protective equipment. We have booties that we wear, Tyvek suits, and hairnets. Additionally, I am, because of the coverage, I am, having to be somewhat strategic on where I'm standing. So, I'm looking out for any points of impact as to not disturb them.
So where it's possible, not standing in obvious areas of blood.
Exactly, yes.
Tough to do in this house.
Very much so.
Okay. Where are we standing and what are we looking at?
So this is going to be this area right here. The decedent is right here. So I was standing about here looking towards this. There's this little wall right here.
Okay, and are we going to sort of move towards that area? And photograph 3084 moving closer?
Yes.
And 3085 sort of scanning as you've described?
Absolutely.
What do we see here that caught your attention in photograph 3086?
Two things specifically were the apparent blood smear up on the wall and the kitchen knife that also had red-brown stains on it.
And where does the door, it's almost sort of like the threshold of that door that knife's located, where does that lead to?
That's right here, and it leads into the kitchen.
That red dot, is that a signifier of the knife?
Yes.
Okay. 3088 and the photographs that we're going to review following this particular photograph, you document the contents of 2 rooms that appear to be children's rooms.
That is correct.
Anything pertinent within those rooms that you saw?
No.
When I'm using the word pertinent, you understand that to mean items of evidence or apparent blood,
Yes, that is correct.
and didn't see anything of that sort in these.
I did not.
Okay. So 3089 all the way through, documenting, but not seeing anything of interest.
That is correct.
Okay. Where are we at, and what are we looking at in particular?
So this is going to be the doorway here facing out to the staircase. So it is Jaden's room, and I am looking out at the corner right here of this staircase.
And do we begin to zoom in on this particular area of interest?
Yes.
3112. What do we see down here?
So that appeared to me to be a pile of towels with reddish pinkish stains on them, and they were damp.
Within this stage of the documentation and processing, you would not be touching, moving, doing anything with those items?
Not at this point, no.
You would, though, later after everything has been documented all the way through in the manner you described?
Absolutely.
I'm going to zoom in here. Did you observe what I see here, and I'm indicating with my cursor during this stage of your documentation?
Yes, I noticed that.
Were you taking steps, no pun intended, in order to not disturb something like that as you're walking through this area?
Very much so.
Opening this door, seeing if there's anything inside?
That is correct.
Nothing pertinent in this closet.
There was not.
We've now moved sort of further down that hallway,
Yes.
and we're going to look at the contents of this particular room, which turns out to be sort of a storage area documented on photograph 3118. Nothing pertinent in there?
Nothing.
And then documentation of the laundry room in 3112 or 3122.
Yes.
What are we looking at in this photograph 3126, and was there anything pertinent in the garage?
So at this point, this is this doorway right here to the garage. And at this time, I did not see anything that was pertinent.
There's an implication to that response, that there was a later time where some pertinent items of evidence were recovered.
That is correct.
Did you participate in a subsequent search warrant that was executed on January 18th, 2019?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and that's when some additional items were found.
That's correct.
Now, where are we at, and what are we looking at?
So this would be, my back is now to the garage, and I'm facing out this way towards the kitchen area with the staircase on my right.
Okay. And are we moving towards the kitchen?
Yes.
And is my cursor indicating where that knife that we saw previously is located?
Yes, that is correct.
And now are you going to make your way up this set of stairs to see if there's anything pertinent in the loft?
Yes.
Was there?
There was not.
Okay. Now 3140, back facing towards the kitchen
Yes.
and moving into the kitchen.
Yes, that is correct.
Where are we at, and what do we see?
So from here, I am standing right here with my back to the family room, and I am looking in at the overall status of the kitchen area.
Okay. And are you at this time and at this stage observing what appeared to you to be these shapes consistent with a footprint having the appearance of blood.
That is correct.
Continue your documentation of the kitchen at 3147.
Yes.
We're looking back the other direction in photograph 3149.
Yes.
And what do we see here that caused you to take some photographs?
So in this photograph, you can see that there were some knives in the sink. There is what appears to be red-brown stains on the knife there, as well as some on the counterpart of the sink.
Okay. Now, I think it's clear where we're standing, but what room are we looking at?
So now we are looking into this family room right here.
And the photos that follow, you document the contents of the family room.
Yes, I did.
Anything pertinent in the family room?
Not that I found, no.
Okay, so you're standing in the family room, and where does this door with the archway lead that my cursor is indicating on?
So I am standing here with my back to the wall, and I am looking out into this little archway that goes into the living room.
Okay, back up a photograph. We have photograph 3170, and then we see that archway. The next photograph that we look at, have you moved sort of into that archway?
That is correct.
And what do you see?
Immediately, I notice the couch is directly in front of me, and it appeared to be in an odd position. It was kind of a tight fit for where I was at, but that was the first thing that I noticed there.
Because where it's at, you couldn't walk through that space in any sort of natural way.
I could not.
Photograph 3174, we're on the sort of other side of Mr. Redlick at this point,
That is correct.
and kind of turning towards him in 3175.
Yes.
And what did you see here that caused you to take a photograph?
It appeared to be more footprints that had a red-brown stain to them.
Where are you standing, and what are we looking at in photograph 3177?
So from here, I am standing in this corner, and I am looking down here.
Staying in that corner and kind of sweeping to document the space,
Yes,
and looking back the other way.
that is correct.
Is this an example of sort of the very seemingly awkward location of this particular couch at this particular time?
That is correct.
Okay. Are we beginning now to move towards this area of the home?
Yes, that is correct.
The office?
Yes, that is the office.
Would an item of evidence ultimately be collected from the office?
Yes,
And we'll see that with a marker a little bit later in the photos.
yes.
Okay. And now, where are you standing, and what are you looking at?
I am in the office doorway right here, looking out towards the doorway to the master bedroom.
(3199) moving into the master bedroom.
Yes,
3201 continuing that trek.
yes.
And what are you observing as you move towards the master bedroom or move into the master bedroom?
the sweeping red-brown stains that are going to what we will see as the bathroom area.
And where are you at, and what are we looking at?
So from here, I was then in this corner, would be that corner. And I was again looking at the doorway just to see some of the contents of the room.
Okay. And we can sort of see that what appeared to be a trail of blood and what looks like a bathtub in the distance.
Yes.
And you'll go on to document that?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Another angle of that sort of sweeping trail of apparent blood in photograph 3206.
Yes.
3209, moving closer to the bathroom.
Yes.
And where is this closet at in the hallway?
So that was the men's closet, or appeared to be a men's closet, here on the, that side.
Okay. And this closet would be on the opposite side as depicted in photograph 3213.
That is correct.
Anything pertinent within the what appeared to be the female's closet?
At that time, no.
Would we later come back on the 18th and find something within the closet that was a relevant item of evidence?
That is correct.
Now moving into that bathroom, 3217,
Yes.
and documenting the condition of the bathroom.
Yes.
Explain to the jury what it is you're attempting to document, what you see and what it causes you to try to document in this set of photos, 321, 3231, and then 3232.
So, again, as I explained, where I observe some things and keep mental notes of it, knowing that there were towels and they appeared to be somewhat wet, shower area is wet. So I was looking to see if the shower had water on the floor as if it had been somewhat recently used. So that was what I was attempting to document to show that there was water on the tile floor in the shower.
Documenting the contents of the closet depicted in 3241.
Yes.
Anything pertinent inside that closet?
It appeared to have towels that were also out by the staircase.
Okay. In the back of the bathroom door?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3245, obviously we're back near the decedent.
Yes.
And you're going to document in the photos that follow some of the areas immediately surrounding him.
That is correct.
And that's what we see here, photograph 3246
Yes.
and 3248
Yes.
and 3250
Yes.
and 3253.
Yes.
We are still at the stage of the investigation where you are not permitted in any way, shape, or form to move the body, modify the body, correct?
That is correct.
3257?
That is correct.
Okay. What are you documenting here, 3259, and then 3260?
The bottoms of his feet, and that he was wearing socks, and there appeared to be suspected blood on the bottoms of them.
3261?
Yes.
What do we see? Why are you taking this close-up photo?
I am taking a general photo because I did notice some defects on his face by a guy.
And 3263, are you documenting what appeared to you to be some sort of injury to the shoulder.
That is correct.
(3270) explain to the jury what's happened at this point.
So at this point, now that the decedent is able to be manipulated, you can see there is a white Tyvek suit in the back. That is the medical examiner's team, and they are now rolling him so we can see if there is any injury, any markings, anything like that on his back. So these are the back photos, which, again, I would not have taken by myself. So the ME was there to document that as well.
Okay, and 3271, what are these items and where did they come from?
These are contents from the decedent's pockets that were taken out by the medical examiner's investigator.
Okay, and 3278, is this the area that was sort of left behind after Mr. Redlick was collected by the ME?
That is correct.
3279, where are we at and what's causing you to take these photos?
So this is back at the front door with them shut. I had walked in and immediately started taking my overall photos and did not get close enough to see that there was some blood underneath the handles until we were escorting the medical examiner's office out when I noticed the drip marks down underneath the handle.
And we're going to see some photographs that zoom in on those drip marks.
Yes.
And that's what we see here, photograph 3281.
Yes, that is correct.
3282.
Yes.
Okay. And have you turned around and photographed 3287 and are now documenting what the scene looks like from this angle with Mr. Redlick no longer there?
That is correct.
3288 and then into 3290. Have you now noticed something that you didn't have an opportunity to document before?
Yes.
What is it?
They appear to be red-brown stains, suspected blood.
Can you explain to the jury why it is, you keep saying suspected blood rather than actual blood, considering everything that we're looking at?
There are times where something might look like that it's blood and it turns out to not be. So you always want to say suspected blood because I don't have a test kit there to determine. In this case, there was also such a large amount, and with the what I was showing in that picture was it was very watered down where it appeared to have been cleaned up. So some of it might have been chemical. So that's why I like to say suspected blood or apparent.
So, for example, photograph 3278, where Mr. Redlick, once laid with that wound to his shoulder and his eye, you would still refer to everything we see here as suspected blood because you haven't done some tests to actually truly confirm that it's blood.
That is true.
But it's a pretty strong suspicion.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now have we arrived at the point where you've put markers down and you're now documenting the scene with these markers in place?
That is correct.
And is it this point where certain processing will begin to take place once these photographs are complete?
That is correct.
Okay. And we see here you going back and rephotographing these areas of interest next to these markers.
That is correct.
Does this aid in sort of report writing and record keeping going forward, having markers associated with areas and items?
Very much so, yes.
Okay. Photograph 3306, some close-up documentation of that wall that was next to Mr. Redlick's hand that we hadn't seen much of previously.
That is correct.
And 3308, that same area.
Yes.
Now moving back towards the master bedroom,
Yes.
and we now have markers there.
Yes, that is correct.
Tell the jury sort of what you noticed on this carpet and what it caused you to do. And we'll look at photograph 3331.
So upon further inspection, I did notice a footprint, what appeared to be a footprint on the carpet. It also appeared to be a larger one than what was around the house. So
Later in this set of photos, will we see other examples of what appear to be footprints where you've placed the same size scale down?
yes, that is correct.
And would that allow you to sort of compare the relative size between that apparent footprint against other apparent footprints?
Yes.
Additional documentation of this sort of trail of blood with a marker down?
Yes.
Photograph 3341, are you noticing more apparent footprints in this area?
Yes.
And is this an example of you using one of these, the same size scale to document what appeared to you to be a footprint?
That is correct.
And this footprint would be smaller than what we observed as the other footprint on the carpet.
Significantly smaller, yes.